Okay guys, so I'm here at the Nethercutt Car Museum. This is here in Somar, California. If I turn this around here, let's take a look, show you guys. So right off the back, we have a 1907 Westinghouse Model 40D limousine. So the horsepower on this vehicle was 40. This had 4 cylinders. The coach builder was in New York. It says Westinghouse automotives were made by the French branch of the famous American Electric Company. So it's really interesting. This vehicle, when new, was about $7,500 all the way back in 1907. As you can tell here, this car was never refurbished, just because you can see all the wear and tear. But again, 1907, that's over 100 years old. Let me know if you guys have ever seen this. If we turn over this way here, we have, look at this beautiful white car. This is a 1910 Napier Model T24 Tour. So this was the L head. This was a 6-cylinder. The horsepower on this was 65, and the price when new was $3,200. The engineering firm of Napier & Son had a significant distinguished history dating back to 1808. So, wow. So the people who produced this were producing cars all the way back in the year 1808, you know, basically 200 years ago. But this is definitely a very, very beautiful car here. This one's really interesting because this one has Kermit the Frog on it. And I don't know why this is on here, but I'm sure there's a reason. So this is a 1911 Matheson Model 18 Silent 6 Touring. So this had 50 horsepower. It was a 6-cylinder, and this vehicle, when new, was $4,000 all the way back in 1911. It says, known for its Silent 6, the maiden house was one of the quietest cars ever produced. It was extremely reliable. Stats show that over several years, the average repair expense was over 12,840 miles, and it was only $36. Even in today's dollars, that's incredibly low. It says the reason Kermit the Frog is on here, I guess it's because this color remind these people of Kermit the Frog. So I'm wondering, how old is Kermit the Frog? If this was 1611, if they've still got a toy from then, I'm wondering how old is Kermit the Frog. So this is a 1911 Pope Hartford. This is a model VW7 passenger touring. This car was made in Hartford, Connecticut. This had a 50 horsepower. This vehicle, when new, was about $3,600. This won a prize at the Rose Parade back in 2008 here in California. It says the 1911 Pope Hartford, a product of the Colonel Albert Pope's empire, was refined and powerful. It featured a 4-speed transmission and innovative overhead valve engine. In spite of its looks, it was quite fast and was the choice for police cars, ambulance, and fire wagons. Wow, so this was used for police cars and fire wagons back in 1911. Okay, very, very interesting. Kind of looks like a leather boot. Like if I look at that color, it looks like a leather briefcase. It's very, very beautiful. Here you got an old school piano, but look at this beauty here. This is a 1911 Pope Hartford Model Y7 passenger touring. So this had 50 horsepower. This vehicle, when new, was going for about $7,000. In 1911 was the first year production for the 6-cylinder Pope Hartford. The 1911 Pope Hartford, I guess it was used by this movie star. The Grand Marshal was the movie mogul, George Lucas. Oh, George Lucas. Everyone knows George Lucas, that's Star Wars. So this is a 1911 Pope Hartford Model Y7 passenger touring. So if I want to show you guys the inside there, kind of go over. You can see the inside is very simplistic. There's not a whole lot going on, but it is a very, very beautiful car. Let's see what else I can show you all here. Sorry about the buzzing noise, guys. This is a 1912 Alco Model 967 passenger touring. So this vehicle, when new, was going for about $6,000. It was built by the famous American Automotive Company of Providence, Rhode Island. These cars were built to order, and the company claimed they lost $460 on each car produced. The extremely high $6,000 price tag eliminated most American buyers. Only 12 Alcos are known to exist. This car was used in the 2010 Pasadena Rose Parade. Wow, so there's only 12 of these cars in the world. So this is extremely, extremely rare. Only 12 in the world. I guess because it was too much money back in 1912. This is the 1912 Franklin. Okay, model G6 Series 1 roundabout. This was built in Syracuse, New York. It had 4-cylinder. It was 18 horsepower. Price when new was about $1,700. It was America's largest early maker of air-cooled engine automobiles. Franklin became quite popular in locations where extreme temperatures would not affect its performance. Wow, okay. 1912. It's really cool learning about the history of cars because sometimes we just drive our vehicles and we don't think about all the different things that went on in order for us to have the cars we have today. This is a 1913 Lozelier Type 72 Lakewood Torpedo. This was a 6-cylinder, 80 horsepower. Price when new was $7,500. Henry Huntington was a co-founder of the Pacific Electric Red Car in Los Angeles and the Huntington Library Art Collection at Botanical Gardens. He owned this beautiful vehicle. It was going for about $7,500 new all the way back in 1913. Beautiful, beautiful vehicle. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Excellent looking car. This is the 1913 Winton Model 17 D6 Passenger Touring. Winton was the first great name in the American automobile industry. Alexander Winton was building cars on a production basis as far back as 1898, when motor cars won many race cars and endurance contests. So this vehicle had a 48 horsepower and price when new was about $3,000. This is the 1913 Winton. If we come over this way, we got some other unique looking vehicles here. This is the 1914 Knox Model 46 Little 6 Touring. The Knox Automobile Company began producing automobiles in 1909. Knox claimed that their Model 45 was built to meet the growing demand for a high-quality 6-cylinder car. Only 383 were built. The demand was not there, and it became their last year production. So this had a 46 horsepower. This vehicle was going for about $4,400 back in 1914, and it had 6 cylinders. But it is a beautiful, beautiful color. Sorry about the buzzing, guys. This one to me is really unique. This is an old-school fire truck. So let's take a look at this. This is the 1913 Christy front drive steam pumper fire engine. Christy front drive tractor units were produced to replace horses. They were sold to fire departments all over the world by owner J. Walter Christy. Over 600 Christy tractors were built from 1908 through 1913. So this is technically like a front drive steam pumper fire engine. So the horsepower was 60. It had 4 cylinders and it could pump out 700 gallons of water per minute. So what's interesting is fire trucks back in the day did not have hoods because they thought it was better to access fires, but what they didn't factor in was debris falling from fires is really dangerous. So now fire trucks have hoods to protect the firemen trying to put out fires. Then we have this beautiful green looking car here. This is a 1928, I'm not sure how you say this, Manura Am convertible town cabriolet. This was built in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This was 6 cylinders. The horsepower was 32. It was most famous was a high quality, expensive automobile. The price when noon was unknown. Okay, so that's how you know it's something expensive. 6 cylinder. If anyone knows any more information about this beautiful car, please let me know in the comment section below. Kind of take a walk through and take a look at that there. That is a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. So if we come over this way, look at this beauty. What is this bad boy? This is a 1925 Cunningham Series V6 Sport Touring. Wow, price when new was $5,800. It had 100 horsepower. It was originally introduced in 1919. It was the 6th in a series that continued to be produced. It was built as a sports touring body. This was built in Rochester, New York, 8-cylinder, 100 horsepower, 1925 Cunningham. That is a beautiful looking vehicle. Beautiful, beautiful vehicle. This is a 1931 Cunningham Series V9 enclosed drive limousine. So this car when new was $9,600. It had 110 horsepower. It had 8 cylinders. Every Cunningham was handcrafted and individually handled vehicle whose performance and efficiency was guaranteed. No matter how far away the owner lived from the company's factory, a mechanic would be immediately dispatched to the scene. This beautiful limousine was delivered April 7, 1931 to Miss Ruth Tombley, a daughter to Florence Vanderbilt in Hamilton. The car has the traditional Vanderbilt crest painted on the rear doors. Okay. So that's interesting. No matter how far you were, they'd come out to fix your car. I guess if you needed it. It's good to know, right? You're spending all that money on a car. You want to make sure. This is a 1925 Durant Model A22 4-door sedan. William Carpo Durant, he was the founder of General Motors, lost control of GM twice in his career. In 1929, after the second loss, he started Durant Motors. He built many makes, including Locomotive and Star. The Star was built to compete with the Ford Model T, and the Durant was to compete with Oakland. Pontiac. Durant Motors Inc. survived until 1932. Okay. Wow. So the guy who founded GM ended up losing control of it twice. So the price when new was about $1,200, and it was a 4-cylinder, 35 horsepower. Let me know again which vehicles you guys enjoy most. There's so many unique looking cars here. I'd like to see you soon, and leave me a comment below.